Hello, so I can't figure out how to get my computer to do everything I need it to do, so I'm going to have to record this on my phone, and I feel a sneeze coming on, so sorry in advance if I sneeze. But one of the downsides of this are that everything you read here is going to be backwards. To compensate for this, I'm going to read what it says, even though you already have a copy of it. Yeah. Hopefully it works out that way. Alright, taking it from the top. What would you do if the government knocked on your door to take your property, split your house hunting grounds, and divided your family in half for the border wall? The border wall not only disrupts migration of endangered species and increases the flooding risk, it takes land away from U.S. citizens, dividing communities and families alike. Browsing the internet led me to wonder, what are the downsides of the border wall? Do the benefits really outweigh the cons? There are many things to consider when building a border spanning hundreds of miles. I know some of you may support the border wall, however, I invite you to have an open mind as we look into the details of what building such a border really entails. Let's start with its impact on animals. President Trump signed an executive order to ignore 31 environmental laws when building the wall. That's by Madison. Because of this, short-term and long-term consequences of a border wall on wildlife include increased wildlife mortality, disrupted migrations, reduced populations, and altered water flows. That's a direct quote from Clark. 93 endangered species, including the American jaguars, are being affected by splicing their habitat, lessening the genetic pool, and raising their risk of extinction. It will block the river off from wildlife, cutting off their primary drinking source. Likewise, during hurricanes and other major flooding events, it can drown wildlife and also pose a risk for humans. Here is a picture of the wall, and it says border walls block wildlife migration and prevent anything larger than 4 inches from passing. Okay. Untouched environmental jewels like the Rio Grande and the Santa Ana National Wildlife Refuge will both have a wall running through them. Congress attempted to preserve these lands, but Trump is building it anyway. Contractors are blowing up mountains, including Arizona's National Monument, to clear the way for the wall and its side roads. This will leave a permanent scar on nature's landscape. Scarce desert aquifers are being drained to build the wall's concrete base. Native plants are being demolished to make way, and even canyons aren't getting away unscathed. And this says here, aquifers are being used for cement making. Okay. Nature isn't the only thing being negatively affected by the wall. U.S. citizens are too. Using eminent domain, the U.S. is taking land from their own citizens. The wall isn't directly on the border, so it's dividing families and communities as well. The border wall is being built with no consideration and little or no forewarning to the citizens in its way. The government is taking land for well below the market price. Most people do not want to give up their land for the wall, or they just feel it's a losing battle because the government will take anything it wants. Where is liberty for citizens in that? Approximately 4,900 plots of land within 500 feet of the wall could be taken. The unsightly wall threatens to destroy tourist opportunities for vineyards, getaways, rental properties, and more. And since there's no solid plan for the exact path of the wall, it leaves many citizens worrying they could be next. Trump even waived the Native American Graves Protection Act to build the wall. This allows for the destruction of grave sites. That's by BBC News. They're not moving the graves, just blowing them up like everything else. Imagine if someone did that to your family and friends' graves and didn't even tell you about it. And I have this right here. It says, without the Native American graves, Protection Act to protect them, many graves were destroyed for the wall. To sum things up, the border wall is doing a lot of harm to the U.S. and its beautiful landmarks and wildlife. We could use alternative solutions, but they have forced the decision of a wall. America would be better off without such an expansive physical border when the natural borders and alternative security already exist. Ever since Trump won the election and promised to build a border wall, countless nature reserves, properties, and sacred lands have been threatened and taken by the government for a wall that likely won't finish construction. It's your job to stand up and take peaceful action to say no to Trump's border wall. Thank you for listening.